because some inmates have been asking for an increase in their feeding allowance. Peter Kwawadato was recently at the Nsawam prisons and has this report. Well, I understand the story is not particularly ready, but we've been joined in the studio by DSP Vitalis Aye. He's the Chief Public Relations Officer of the Ghana Prison Service. Now let's talk about this story. I mean, 1 cedi 80 pesos, that's quite small, isn't it? And so for the inmates to be asking for an increment, what is necessitating this? What would you say could be behind this? Is it that the food you are given to them is not enough or not healthy enough?
Frankly, 1 cedi 80 pesos is not good enough for an adult meal or in-meal for 3 square meals a day. Also look at the economic challenges we're facing as a country, where everything is spiraling up, and this increment came as far back as 2012 and hasn't been increased. So it's legitimate for them to ask for an increase. Having said that, we manage with what we have. That's the 1 cedi 80 pesos. And as I said, if you are breaking it down, it means 60 pesos in the morning, 60 in the afternoon, and then 60 in the evening. So if you give 60 pesos to your son who is in KG, what is he going to buy with it? Ice water? Maybe. So 1 cedi 60 pesos, I think that call is legitimate. It's not sufficient, and we think if it is increased, it will be okay. Because the prisoners, as we see them as a part of us, their own kith and king, and they're in there to come back better and help the society. So anything we're doing for society that is supposed to be good should be extended to them as well. And when we do this for them, it means that they also have a feeling that society, Ghanaians in general, still have them at heart, and they do their best to come back really reformed to help build our society.
So how does the prison service cope? I mean, if you are having to spend 1 cedi 80 pesos on each inmate, how do you cope? What kind of food do you give them?
Basically, the food they eat in Ghana, or all of us eat,
the bankus and the kenke, rice,
rice and gari. These are the things we give them. And we are coping also because we allow for relations to bring in cooked food.
Okay.
And this, I'll stress that when you bring it, you have to have a taste of it. We want you to give them wholesome food, apart from the food that is not either poisoned or anything wrong with it. Again, the prison service has put up backyard farms and gardens that we can use to supplement what the government is giving us. That is still not sufficient. So we still appeal to philanthropic organizations to come to the aid of the inmates. Just like we saw last week, Wednesday, a child of TV3, Ghana's most beautiful Accra rep, decided to spend her birthday in some female prisons. And that was very wonderful. I mean, her cake was as big as this table. And you could see how the inmates were happy. Some were virtually weeping. She herself was weeping because, like joy. When was the last time they saw a piece of cake like that? So philanthropic organizations, individuals are also encouraged to come into the prisons and support these are unfortunate brothers and sisters who are in there. Okay.
Now they're asking for an increment, and you have just, sounded in tune with them that indeed some increments would be necessary. What is the process? I mean, who would be pushing? Is it the prison service that will be pushing for an increment for them?
Usually, yes and no. Yes, in the sense that the prison service is giving a budget. Don't forget, we are under the Ministry of Interior. That has also got other agencies under it, and they always talk of a constrained budget. So you send your budget to them, and it's like, okay, what you're asking for, you can't get all of it. It is cut down. But always we send our budget to them for them to work on it. Where we had so much hunger in this country, prisoners died out of hunger. As a result, that law was kind of massaged in a way to give way, because they are human beings, for their relatives, for individuals, for corporate bodies to bring in. So it's true, sometimes there can be a problem with the type of food they get, and that is what is supposed to be given to them. And when that happens, it's about understanding. We work as a family, let me put it that way. But whatever affects them affects us, apart from the fact that the food they eat, we're not supposed to eat it. Not that we're not supposed to eat it, we have a taste of it, but that's not mandatory on us to eat. Otherwise, the environment, we breathe the same air. What happens to them in terms of overcrowding affects us. The meals they prepare for them, we prepare it in assistance with selected inmates. So we ensure the small money we get, we give them something that is wholesome, something that can keep their body and spirit up.
Okay. Now that Peter was telling me that when he was there, last week, that's when he heard that the female prisoners were actually asking for more money for an upward adjustment of their feeding fee. How are you going to ensure that the quest for more is not, ballooned into something quite unpleasant? I mean, you've said earlier that you keep talking to them, but for how long would you be talking?
I think the authorities are much aware of this. I've heard Interior Minister himself. He's visited a couple of prisons. He also thinks that 180 pesos is not sufficient for an adult male or female in Ghana prisons. And he's already taking the fight up there. So I believe he's working, he being the head of the prison service for now, I believe he's talking to those who matter. We can always talk, the prisoners can talk, but it's the implementers of the decisions that will matter. And once he has come on board and he's talking, once the prison authorities are talking, our Controller General has also spoken about it. Many other people have. And I believe by now, those who are supposed to be implementing the laws are making some changes.
Thank you very much, DSP Vitalis Aye. Yes. Chief Public Relations Officer of the Ghana Prison Service. It's been a pleasure having you here this morning. We've been talking about, the prison service inmates who told our reporter last week that they actually want more money as far as their feeding allowances are concerned.